Hello, 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 hello. We're back for our weekly meeting. I hope that, whoever's been listening to the whole episodes and it's gotten all the way up to here, I hope that listening to me has done something in your life, even if it is, again, appreciating what you have, even if it is confronting yourself with something you want to do and you haven't had the courage to do. Maybe if you're going through the same situation and you don't know if it is possible to get out, or if you know someone that's going through something like this and you don't know how to help them. I think that, and one of the reasons why I started sharing my story is because I feel that my story is very relatable in different ways. It doesn't really have to be one way or the other. It could be just one thing. It could be, again, even if it's just the realization that you had a wonderful childhood and you had a wonderful life, and that you can just go out and kind of see everything and go, fuck, that'd be good, like anything. Anyways, I want to start by saying that it's very interesting today. I was thinking, I went back and I was like, okay, how many episodes is there? And what episode is this? Because this episode, I'm going to talk up to practically when I'm already arriving here, that I'm still kind of sussing out what's going on and throwing me a few challenges my way. That I think that everything changed just because I saw those challenges as something different, and I knew how to handle them already, and how to, not that I knew, but I did, of how to handle the next steps that I needed to take. So anyways, I realized that this is the episode number 11. So I told you that I studied numerology as well, and it's very interesting to see how everything accommodates in such perfection. So obviously the number 11, it's got a big symbolism in what it is of, rebirth and kind of that closing of what I think it was. Because I told you, I think I died symbolically in the moment that I started bringing gratitude into my life, because I think that made me have a totally different perspective of my whole life and what was coming ahead. But I think this episode, I'm going to be finishing on when I really took decisions that were based on my self-love, because I was already giving that to me, right? I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what love was, but I started giving it to myself. So I started realizing different things and acting in different ways. So anyways, I'm going to start it off few weeks, let's say a month before I actually came to Australia. Because when I made the decision, I told you I called this friend and I told him my cat appeared after 18 days. She was gone. 18, almost thought. And in that moment, I went and got all my tests done, medical stuff that you normally kind of do when you're going to leave the country. And I thought, I've got all my insurances and stuff here. I probably get a last checkup and then we'll go. So, I'm going through this whole process because I was working in that moment still for the solar panel company. So, I told them, I said, look, I'm actually going to go to Australia. They said to me, don't worry about it. We can go and you can still work with us. We don't care. We want to keep working with you. And I was like, well, fuck yeah. That, it allows me to come to Australia having already a job and obviously earning in American dollars, which is better than Australian dollars. So I thought, fuck, yes, let's do it, So anyways, I speak to my friend and, I'm telling him, and we're having all these deep conversations about, spirituality and self-development and traumas and all this bullshit. I kind of explained to him what happened with my ex-husband. And, and he's, I knew him from 15 years ago. I knew his dad, I knew his family, his mom. And, he said to me, look, he's got a very big construction company in Australia and he's really well connected, but I didn't know the level of how much he had grown in those 15 years with his dad and the whole thing. So anyways, I start talking to him. He's like, dude, I have this company, why don't you just come and work with us? Have a chat with my dad. We had a chat. It's yes, quit your job. don't care about it. Just come here. You're going to be able to get a job. I'll be able to help you find a place. I can even lend you my card. He was being so fucking nice to me. I was like, oh my God, everything is just working out so fucking beautifully. And so, you know, like my idea was, okay, so I'm just going to come with him. I'm going to start working with him. And then, you know, at least I've got someone there. At least I've got a job. Like I felt I had everything organized. So I was comfortable, and I was thinking, well, everything is working itself out, right? Me controlling again everything. I was like, everything is fucking perfect. So anyways, we, you know, we start talking, we start organizing all this stuff. I quit my job because supposedly I'm going to have a better job and he's going to pay me better. So I told him, you know, look, I'm going to quit. It was like, why don't you just quit now so you have time to spend with your mom and stuff like that? Like, don't worry about it. Like, you know, like I'm going to lend you the money because you shouldn't wait. Because I was going to leave like October. I was planning October or something like that, you know, for me being able to save money and come. And it was like, don't worry about it. Like what we can do is I can lend you the money to come. And then out of your work, you can just pay for your ticket. And I'm like, oh my God. Like everything is just aligning so beautifully. I'm like, fuck yes. Like, you know, like what else can you fucking expect for it to come like that? I was like, oh my God, everything is just perfect, right? So anyways, I go and so before that, I said to my mom, like, Mom, I want to go and get a test done about my supposed illness the mast cell activation. Because I think I don't have anything. It had been already 5 years of me not taking that type of medication, or even more time, I think, because I started quitting when I got divorced, 2017. And, you know, I wasn't having any type of reactions, any type of allergic shit. What I thought, yeah, was I'm not having anything. Like, I'm just going to go and get a test done so they can give me a certificate, because if anything happened to me, like let's say, for example, if I had a car accident and I was unconscious, if they saw my medical records, they couldn't do anything with me. They couldn't treat me. They couldn't do shit. They would just let me die. So I was like, you know what? I know that I've got nothing. Like I'm 100% sure that I'm healed and I healed myself. So I'm just going to go and get that certificate. So, you know, I arrived to the lady like in a good hospital in Valle Lili in Colombia, and I go to this people that specializes in allergies. And I tell her my case, I bring the whole fucking thing and stuff. And, you know, I said to her, like, I want to get a test done because I think I don't have anything anymore. She was looking at me like, going like, you don't heal from this. This is like forever. And I'm like, just get that. Let's just do it. Let's do a test of seeing if you give me medication, supposedly that could kill me if I have a reaction. So, you know, I sit in this thing and I was by myself and I was freaking out. I'm like looking at the pills, looking at them, going, you little fuckers, you were supposed to fucking kill me if I had you. And I'm going to have a whole bunch of them right now, like sitting here. But at least I'm in the hospital, you know. And there was something inside of me that I knew I didn't have anything. Like I knew it. I was 100% sure that I was going to get my certificate saying she's got nothing. So, you know, I take the pills and I'm sitting there, I'm freaking out. I'm trying to call my mom was busy. I'm trying to call my stepdad was busy. I'm trying to call anyone to kind of be there with me to help me think about something else. So I didn't give it strength for me to have a fucking reaction. Because if I did, then it would be like, oh my God, like, you know, it's gonna be there. But anyways, I sit there, first bunch of pills, and I'm like, I got nothing. I got nothing, more pills. Nothing, not even a fucking rush. Not even a little dot. She comes to me and she goes, you've got nothing. Like you didn't have an allergic reaction. I was like, thank you. And I grabbed my certificate and I went home and I was so excited. I was like, Mom, I don't have anything. Like I don't have anything. Like I've got a certificate now that says I don't have anything. So if any doctor asks me, do you have any disease? I'll go, no. Are you allergic to anything? No. Bear in mind, I was diagnosed for 13 years. 13 years where I couldn't have nothing, no painkillers, no anti-inflammatories, nothing. Not even for a fucking sore throat, or not even a topical. Nothing. So, you know, I grab my certificate and I walk out, all happy. I ran into that doctor like a few weeks after in a shopping center, and she grabbed me and she goes, you fucking blew my mind. Like you were diagnosed for 13 years of an illness that you don't heal, you like it's forever. And you grabbed that certificate and you didn't even ask me like how, nothing, you just walked away. And I was like, dude, I knew inside of me that I had done the work and that I had that autoimmune disease because I was killing myself from the inside out. It was just, I firmly believed that that was it. So I reacted as so, and for her it was so shocking. She was like, oh God. So anyways, like, okay, so let's go and get all this stuff done. So, I got my gynecologist, this and that, because of the ovaries with the tumors and shit. And it was like 4 days before I left, and my doctor calls me and she goes, Rosa, something came up. And I went, oh my God, like, I'm totally in 5 days, like, don't fucking tell me anything, like, I'm freaking out. Like, that day I started freaking out, going, what the fuck, like, seriously, let me go, shit. And she goes, you came up with some cancerous positive test from your ovaries. And I was like, okay. Anyone, when you get mentioned the C word, you freak the fuck out. You're like, oh my God. So, she's like, just come over straight away. We're going to do like, like a proper, like, look in there and see what's going on, and like do a scrape and shit. And she was like, like, it is, but there's nothing there. Like, we can't see that there's no tumors, like, because it should be obvious or whatever thing. So she goes, just get a test done again in a year and see how it's evolving. But you do have a positive result for it. I was like, so I didn't even want to tell my mom because I was freaking out. I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to Australia. I'll take care of it over there. Like, I don't care. And mostly because I knew I already got my certificate with my thingy, that I was okay. I was like full on, like, I have whatever I believe I have, so I'm not gonna have the C word. Like, there's no fucking way. So I just want to close this story with that one, then I'm have to go back for a little bit. So, I came to Australia and the first thing, I went to the doctor and I said, look, they did this test and they told me that the C thingies were a positive. So, like, I want to get a checkup now. Like, they told me in a year, but I want to get it now just in case, so you can have they follow through and whatever if we need to do anything. And I get the test done, and obviously I was expecting them to say, yes, you have it, because I had already gotten the result that I did have it. And she goes, you don't have it. I went back off. I started laughing, and she goes, what are you laughing about? And I go, I've got, and I showed her the test, and I go, look, I've got the test that says that it's positive, and I had it a week before it. And I was freaking out thinking, fuck, should I not leave? Should I stay? Like, should this be? And there was something in me that I just said, you know what, I'm not gonna take it I'm just not gonna give it strength. I'll take care of it when I have to take care of it. And I came and I got a fucking negative test done. I still have to get tests every year and whatnot to just maintain the kind of thingy, but it's so good. Every time they told me I had something and they kind of went in deep to look into it, they never found anything. So I started realizing that most of the stuff that was happening was in my fucking head. So, I kind of knew how to handle it. So anyways, I wanted to say that because I think it's important as well to kind of not, when we get something told about our health, or, sometimes to look at what your body tells you, to have a look at what's in your inside of you, what's in your emotions, what's in your spiritual realm, what's in your reality, to really kind of confront as well what you could have. Because, I didn't believe them. Like, that's it. And if I do, I'll deal with it. I didn't want to give it strength. So anyways, that was like the last weeks before I came, I was like freaking out. So as well, before I came, I called my dad, because I didn't speak to my dad for about 4 years, from 16 to 20. But then afterwards, I kind of talked to him here and there because I felt bad, like I've got 2 other brothers and a sister from his side. I could never meet them. I didn't even know their name. I knew they existed, but like I tried to communicate with my little sister when I was 16, but I got told that I couldn't because apparently, nobody wants to talk to him, like nobody. But I felt bad because, I've been in his position. I've been him. I've been as well a reckless person. I've been as well a violent person. And I never wanted to be judged by it because obviously I was reacting to certain things. And I knew my dad had a tough life too. He didn't have it easy. So, I was like, I'll talk to him. I'll visit him. I'll do all this stuff for him. So I called him. I said, Dad, I'm going to go to Australia. Well, his first reaction was like, I don't know if I have space in your house. I'm like, bitch, I'm not going to live with you in that tiny, tiny little town. No, like, don't worry about it. You know, like, I'm going with my friend. Like, we're going to be okay. Like, I'm just letting you know that I'm going to Australia. That's it. Like, I'm not wanting anything. Like, I'm just letting you know. So, you know, we started kind of talking a little bit more, and I'm trying to, because for me, I knew that I had big daddy issues, because, you know, I got ripped away from my dad. Like, when my mom decided to leave that relationship, I was in the middle of it. So for me, my dad was like, my dad, you know, my dad. Even though he was a little fucker, when I came back at 16, I still had that whole I need my dad thing. And I never saw my stepdad as my dad. Now I do. And I know that I've got the best fucking father in the world. Just not the one who gave me life, but like, he's the best thing that, like, I fucking love him. Like, he's so nice with me, and he tells me all this stuff and sends me these beautiful messages that he's proud. And, you know, he really took that role. But I never realized that until now. It took me a long time to realize the importance of him in my life, you know. So anyways, so I say to my dad, I'm coming, I'm having all this stuff with my issues with the thingy. I'm saying goodbye to my ex-partner, because at the same time we were still talking, and, you know, we were still close, and we were like we had a really nice breakup. Like, we had a really loving we can't be together, but we love each other. So, like, that's okay. So, you know, like, I went, okay. So my friend said to me, because I told him about my trip and how I was afraid of flying and all this stuff. And it was like, look, I'm going to go to Spain. Come as quick as you can, because obviously you're losing money and you're doing all this, and like, we need you to come and work with us. And I was like, okay, well, let's go now. So I kind of planned, and it was like, next month I'm leaving. And, you know, we were still talking. So, like, come to Spain, because I'm going to go to Spain. Like, that's like 8 hours, and like that we can like travel together. Obviously I had my bags as well, because I left them when I left Barcelona. I left all my winter clothes in Amsterdam. So, you know, I'm talking to my friend, like, I'm going to fucking pack up my bag. Like, you know, like, Spain just seems like the perfect stop and the perfect way for me to go there. So we were going to stay in Spain for like a few weeks, and then we were coming back to Australia. So, you know, I say bye to my mum. It was really hard for me to say bye again, because I don't know when I'm going to see her again. It's been a year already, 14 months, and we still don't have a date of when we're going to see each other. I think maybe next year, but nothing is right now secured. But, you know, for me, it was really hard living home again and having a good relationship with them, and kind of having, again, a little bit of stability, and me wiping that stability again and coming to a totally different... I hadn't been in Australia for 15 years. I didn't really know anyone. Sorry, God, my alarm went off. Anyway, so my dad is here. So, you know, like, I just thought, he's just there. But, like, you know, like, in a way, I thought I was going to be a little bit secure. So my dad sends me a message, and he goes, Rose, I want you to be super proud. Like, we found out that we have Aboriginal descendancy. What? What do you mean? You know, you think Aboriginals, and you think dark skin, you think other thing. And it was like, yes, we are Aboriginal descendants. They showed me photos, and we have like all this information. So they passed me all this information. I got into a group of the family where everyone was getting DNA tests done and all this stuff, and they're recollecting data. And oh my God, I remember I heard it, and for me it was really fucking trippy, because obviously I'm looking into generational traumas, and I'm looking into all this stuff, and IVF and blah, 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 and ADR, and all this type of methodologies of how your brain is connected, and what is God, and why you react, and why, you know, like all the trauma responses and all this stuff. And when they start telling me the story, and I started really finding out the story about the Aboriginals, and how, you know, like how much trauma it's in there, I was like, oh my God, like, I can understand a lot of my shit now. But I was like, this is another Rome, you know, it's like another level of like, oh my bloody, like, oh my God. So they start telling me, you know, that my grandma was, they call it here, the stolen generation. So it was when an Aboriginal person would have a kid that was whiter, like if they had white skin, like whiter skin because of the mixtures and whatever, they will pull him out of the family, and they put him into a white family's house. So, because they wanted to get rid of the darker race they wanted to have. They thought that the darker meant, you know, like not as evolutionated, and they wanted to have smart, new, beautiful white babies. So, you know, like looking into that whole story. And my friend specifically, he was working with the Aboriginal community. So I thought, oh my God, like, you know, I'm going to get there and I'm going to start finding all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, like I really want to kind of go into it and know a little bit about my dad's side of the story, because I didn't really know shit. I knew a little bit about it, and I knew, you know, my dad's story a little bit, and it was really dense. So I kind of wanted to see why my dad's side of the family was so fucked up. Because really, most of my dad's side of the family, they're all addicts, abusers, narcissists, cookies. And I was like, I want to know why I'm kind of the only one that's healed herself. Because most of them are not. Most of them. I haven't heard of one of them that's normal. I've spoken to one of my cousins. I think she's a cousin, which she helps us as well. A lot of people in the family and stuff. And I think she's the most normal one that I've heard of and that I've listened to. But, you know, it gave me a little bit of that sensation of, okay, I'm going to go to Australia now and I'm going to go into another deep healing. Because obviously when I went to Colombia, I said, I'm going to heal myself, and I did. But Australia was another level of my healing process with my dad and with my dad's side of the family, and with me starting again all over the fucking place by myself, you know. But obviously in that moment I thought I had my friends, so I felt comfortable. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it alone, but I'm not that alone. Like I've got people, and I know he knows a lot of people and whatever shit. Anyways, we get to Spain and we're in this beautiful convent, like a huge castle, like 33 fucking bedrooms in that bloody thing. It was huge. It was just the three of us. It was my friend, me, and a friend of his that's the owner of the place. And, you know, we get there, and when I was coming to Australia, I wanted to bring with me this brand of dehydrated fruits, because I wanted to have lulo. It's a type of fruit that we get in Colombia, and one of the things that I miss most about Colombia is the fruits. And I was like, I want to take dehydrated fruits. So, you know, we're in Spain and we're speaking to his friend, and his friend has a lot of connections. So, okay, we're going to be selling it to like a big petrol station. I don't want to say names. So the big petrol station, and you know, we can sell them all there, and like we were preparing all this stuff, and I was super excited because I was like, okay, so I'm bringing, you know, like I knew I wanted to do an app because of everything, but I couldn't see my app. Like I would look at it and it would give me a really angry sensation, you know, because I thought, fuck, I got robbed, you know what I mean? Like, because I worked with it for 3 years, like the whole backside of it, you know. I didn't really focus, like I did a bit of a business plan, but I didn't really focus that much. I was just in the operations and the whole fucking thing. But I thought, you know, I can just get it done when I get there anyways. So we arrive in Spain, all this stuff is happening. We stayed a little bit longer. We stayed for like about 20 something days. But obviously there wasn't much to do. And apart from that, I was like literally 20 minutes away from my ex-husband. And I was freaking out that he would just appear anywhere, or that, you know, that he knew that I was with his friend, or, you know, it was just weird. So anyways, my friend, he was like a Buddhist and he wanted to be a monk, and he would talk about, you know, he meditating 10 days in a cave, and you know, and the place where we were was really symbolical because it had a lot of fucking story, like caves with like skeletons and like weird stuff. But, you know, I didn't really think too much of it. I just thought, okay, well, it's another conscious person. That's beautiful. Like, you know, he walks barefoot like everywhere. And he does all this stuff. And I thought, okay, well, you know, he's very in tune. He's going to be a really good person to be able to live with and to be able to start my new life with as a friend. So anyway, so, you know, I kept talking to him while we were there, and I'm like, dude, like, we haven't spoken about what I'm going to be doing as in my job. Like, you told me you were going to give me a job, and like, you know, I quit my job and all this stuff. But like, I want to feel like I'm independent. I don't want to feel like I'm dependent on you. I want to make sure that I can work. And again, I felt that my value was attached to what I was bringing in money-wise. So I wanted to know what I was going to do. So I kept asking him, you know, like, where I'm going to be working. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, we talk about it when we get there. And we talk with my dad. And I'm like, okay. but I was still focusing, okay, so we're going to be doing about the dehydrated fruit and maybe, so I just thought, you know what, I'll just see when we get there what happens. But I still thought I have a job. So anyways, we have a fun time there. We didn't really do much. We were just, kind of hanging out, the nature here, going around, doing fun things. But I started noticing that, he was being a little bit more intimate, I could say, talking about a bit more intimate stuff. He was telling me like a lot of shit, and I was kind of feeling already a little bit uncomfortable, and we kind of got a little bit together, but then I started feeling awkward. So I don't know, my body was talking to me, but I was trying to like rationalize that I was feeling like that because I just had traveled, because I left my family, because I was going through the whole process. In that moment, I had like my little stick, so I was still smoking weed, but like I was smoking medicated weed. So it wasn't like, just anything. So I was smoking it, supposedly it was medicated. So I felt it was okay. So, I was always in my little pen, and, I was doing little bit. I was drinking, but I wasn't drinking that much. I was just drinking here and there. But obviously when we arrived, we were like, okay, so, he didn't have a house where he lived or an apartment. He was living in his father's office, like in the company that they had. He had like a room there, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. So he goes, well, I'll probably just look for an apartment, so why don't we look for an apartment together? And I thought, well, I'm gonna go and live with somebody that I don't know. Why not? Again, I didn't have in account that my body was feeling already uncomfortable. But I thought I could manage it, and again, your ego gets in the way. And I think it's mostly that I thought that somebody could save me. So I thought, again, he's got a lot of contacts. He's got this. He's my friend. He's never going to see me that way. Like, I just think, he's got this little bit of, I don't know, he was a bit weird in a sense. But, I wasn't trying to overthink too much to it and not listen to my body and what my whole thing was saying to me. So, I said, yes, let's go and moving together. So before that, I arrived, the day that we arrived in Australia, I remember we arrived, so we went and saw his mum. Hi, we haven't seen each other in so long. How are you? Good. I just want you to know, Rosa, you don't have a job. And I went, hi, how are you? Nice to see you again. What? Wait, what? So I remember I looked at my friend going, I've been asking you for 20 days about this bloody job, and that's probably why you didn't want to answer me, because you didn't want to say again, you don't have a job. So, for me it was like, because his mom is very, me on my dark side. She's very confrontational and rude, and she's got this demeanor about her. And the way she told me, I was like, it left me in shock. Because obviously I was straight away in my head, what the fuck am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do for money? How am I going to get the money for this? How am I going to get the money for that? I started freaking out a little bit. So, I kind of started talking to him, and I went, what the fuck, dude? You told me I was going to have a job. And he was like, oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll just do the dehydrated fruits, and I can pay you for that. And we'll build the company. You were going to bring it, but I can do it with you. And we're going to do that thing in Spain and whatever. And I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. So, things just started crumbling. So we got this house together. It was a beautiful house, 1920s house, all rock. It was a fucking beautiful house, a really, really beautiful house. They had ghosts in it and everything. When we entered, they had a little booklet of murders and stuff that had happened in there. But still, it was very pretty, and it was really good price and whatever. We just decided we wanted to live there. So, he was going to pay me to do this whole fruit and stuff. So I remember, we sent some boxes to Spain for the people from this petrol station to test out and whatever. And they started calling me, and they were like, the box is not being picked up. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I called this guy, and I don't know if my demeanor was a little bit, I just think it was just one of these macho men that doesn't like fucking women to say anything. So I said to him, what the fuck, dude? You haven't picked up a box. Don't you ever fucking call me again, delete your number. And I thought, what? The box has been sitting there for a week. They're going to send it back to Colombia. The guy, like, what? So, I told my friend, I go, what the fuck is going on? It's like, oh, you're rude to him, and like, he's never like that. And I'm like, I'm the bad person now? Like, the box has been sitting there for a fucking week, nobody's picked it up. Like, we're supposed to be taking it. Like, dude, don't make me waste my time. Like, I hate people lying and wasting time. Like, I think it's unnecessary to do all this shit, right? So anyways, so things started getting a little bit weird with my friend when we were living together. So he signed a contract because obviously I had just arrived, because that's why I knew I couldn't get an apartment, because I just arrived. I don't have references. I don't have my bank account. I don't have anything. So, things started getting a bit weird. So he was looking at me different. He started saying weird shit. He would leave me little notes written down that were really weird. And I started feeling really, really uncomfortable. My body was just, dude, I don't even know how to explain it. I would see him and I would just feel like, oh my God, like, and it was very controversial for me because I felt so bad. I was like, he just helped me get here. He's been so nice in a way. Why am I feeling like everything in my body just repels him? For some reason, I couldn't even look at him. I was like, oh my God, my body just felt like it was just weird. So anyways, he lends me these cards. I said to him, like, look, dude, I need to work. Like, I need to do something. You can't just pay me to just sit with you because, we were just having lunch, not doing anything. And the fruit thing wasn't coming up and this job wasn't coming up. And like, we were going to some construction buildings just to see the building, but we weren't doing anything. And I'm like, I need to do something. Like, not only now for money wise, it's just that I need to be with something. Like, I need to be feeling that, that I'm doing something valuable. Like, I could just sit here and look pretty. It's just, I'm getting like, I'm wanting to drink now. I'm trying to cover again because I wasn't feeling like I was aligned with what I was supposed to be doing. So, he goes, I've got a friend, she works with the disability sector. Like, there is a big thing here in Australia that's called like the disability scheme. So if you've got any type of disability, the government pays you and pays you to have people to help you to take care of you. Like if you need, house chores or social inclusion, which was the thing that I liked the most because I get along with anyone. I'm a happy person and I'm a friendly person. And I thought, fuck, like that would be perfect. Like I will feel like I'm doing something that has value. I'll be able to get money and like that, yes. So, I meet these girls and I thought it was lovely. I was like, yes, I want to do this. Like, I think this is very aligned with what, me helping people and whatever, because I always wanted to save the bloody world instead of saving me. But anyways, so, I'm with my friend and he lent me his car and I went to the beach because I like to go to the beach to sit there. Like, that's my healing taboo thing. Like, I love to do that. And I was in this parking and this guy almost crushed my fucking leg. Like, he went to park and he didn't see me, and luckily I didn't have my leg there because he shut my door and I was like freaking. I was like, oh my God, I almost lost my leg. Oh my God. So I get home and I didn't really want to tell him anything, and I was just sitting there and we started talking and I go, you know what, like, this just happened. And I was telling him as an anecdote because I was freaking out because I almost got my leg crushed. He went cookie nuts. He started yelling at me. He goes, I thought you were my friend. Why didn't you call me? I'm like, well, I didn't call you because the car is good. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It just, the door got shut and there's like a little scratch, but that's it. Like, the whole thing was my leg. Like, what the fuck? You should have told me. I'll lend you the car so you've got the responsibility. And I'm like, I understand, like, if there's something wrong with it, I'll fix it before I give it back to you. But like, why are you screaming at me? Like, screaming, you thought you were my friend. I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm again in a situation. I'm again with someone that is not coherent whatsoever. So he was supposed to be a monk and a Buddhist, and he had this whole thing about metta, love, and love and kindness and all this bullshit. And I was looking and going, this is all bullshit. Like, his friends were telling me that he had told them that I was here because I was with him. And I remember one day when I sat down and I thought, dude, like, I was with my ex-husband for 10 years. You're his friend. Like, what are you? I would never be with you. You're friends with him. Like, how the fuck am I gonna turn around and say, oh, this is my new boyfriend? No fucking way. No way. At least for me, that's like a big no-no. It's like the forbidden fruit. Like, it's just, I couldn't even imagine how could someone, I just looked at him and I thought, you know, like, so then I started seeing shit, you know, like him dressing as Jesus and thinking that he was Jesus and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there going, where the fuck am I again? What the fuck is going on? Oh my God. We just got this house for a year. Luckily, I wasn't in the contract, you know, and I'm thinking like, fuck, you know, like now he's whinging about this car. I went, fuck that shit, mate. Like, I'm just gonna go and buy myself a little car. I had $2,000 as I'm gonna buy a shitty car. I don't care if it's got no paint or whatever the fuck. I'm just gonna get a little car, and I'm just gonna move out. Like, you know, like he was leaving already weird messages and like, you know, like messages like trying to call me weird shit without saying it to my face, and like there was no coherence at all. Like, I would show him a video because before I used to like people, and I still do, I have to admit it, you know, people falling down and doing their shit, and I would laugh and I would go, wait, who doesn't? Like, you just laugh, you know, like funny videos of someone getting hurt or whatever, and I would just give you. I didn't like animals being hurt, but I didn't care about humans, obviously. So, you know, I showed him this video and he was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know how you see all this stuff, like energy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't like it. That's okay. I'm sorry. I showed it to you, but I didn't take it personal. When then the next day we were driving and he saw a fucking animal on the street that was dead and he passed over it and he laughed. And I went, how the fuck can you just drive over an animal, even if he's dead? I don't care. And laugh. I thought, okay, there is something weird here and I do not want to be a part of it. And that's one of the things that I'm telling you, I made a decision that I'd never made before, because he was a typical person that I would have got involved with. He was a typical person that I would have handled anything he threw my way, because I thought he knew people, he was well connected, he's got this, he's got that, he can save me, he can help me, because I need help. And I thought, I need to make a different step this time. I'm taking a different approach. I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna argue. I'm gonna grab my things and I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna start alone, by myself. Don't know what I'm gonna do. I have no idea. Don't know where I'm gonna live. I have no idea. I'm just gonna test out the waters and see. In a week, I had already a place to stay and a car. For the price, and a beautiful car. That's been, I love my car. And everything just started working out. That's why I mean that when things are meant to happen, things just work itself out. For me, I feel that he was my last test in that sense. And even not even the last one, I think it was the last is my dad, which I'm gonna get to it now. But for me in that moment it was like if life was telling me, are you sure you don't want this type of man again? Are you sure you don't need anyone else to save you? Are you sure you're gonna be keeping into that incoherent, not being coherent, you know, like incoherent? Well, however you say the word, you know, of saying, thinking, and my actions be a company of what I was thinking and what I was feeling like. And I remember I sat there and I thought, oh my God, like I feel so bad. Like, you know, like he's done all this stuff and like now I'm just gonna leave. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, you know, like what's the right kind of step to go and what's the right approach? Should I try to talk to him? So, you know, I got home that day and I looked at him and I went, hey, can we have a chat? Because obviously we were having a little bit of an argument because of the whole situation with the car. And because obviously when he had that fit, I didn't want to say anything. I just thought, well, fuck it, you do you, I'll do me. And, you know, I started working with this disability thing, so I wasn't even really at home. So when I got home, I went and talked to him and he just locked himself in the room. And I thought, well, I tried to talk but I had my house already. So, you know, I chose a day that he wasn't going to be there, and I left him a big note saying thank you for everything. Like, please send me the bill of the flight and whatever thing that I have to pay you, because I'm appreciative, but like, you know, like, you're not my partner, you're nothing from me. Like, I want to pay for whatever I owe you. Like, that was the deal. You were gonna lend it to me and I was gonna pay for it. You didn't give me a job, but I got another job, so I would just fucking do it. So, you know, I left, and like, I didn't even say goodbye. Like, my goodbye was a letter. But I think that me making the decision of not going into that confrontation, of me choosing my peace and listening to my body of how uncomfortable I was, and as well having certainty that whatever steps I was going to be taking were going to be the best, and that I was protected, and that everything always worked itself out. So, you know, I arrived to this beautiful house where I'm living now. It was supposed to be a house for 6 months, so I could get a reference, so I could have my bank account and have a little bit of money for me to go and get an apartment. And it's a beautiful 4-bedroom house. So they told me, you know, like, you're the first one to get here. The house is going to be demolished in like 4 or 5 months. So, you know, you just get like a few roommates, someone that's going to be here 3 months, and that's it. And I thought, well, why not? Let's do it. It's been a year now. It's still here. I'm living by myself, which I fucking love. So I've got this huge house just for me. And I've got my beautiful car, and you know, so anyways, I start. When I first arrived, you know, I'm visiting my dad, and I'm trying to build this relationship with him. And, you know, I remember I even posted a photo with him, and I was so fucking happy because I felt that day, you know, I said to him, like, don't worry about it. Like, again, you know, like, I'm going through all this stuff. Like, I don't care what happened. Like, I love you anyways. I understand you. I understand our relationship. Like, so good. So, you know, I'm kind of visiting him and like trying to build that relationship with him. I finally met my brothers, and my sister was one of them too. But my sister and my brother, I haven't really met them physically. One of them I have. But, you know, we started talking. So for me, it was like, oh my God, like, you know, like, I have brothers and sisters. Like, I've always wanted a sister mostly, but I've always wanted siblings because I was very alone and I didn't want to be alone. Like, that was one of my biggest fears, was to be alone. But now, yeah. I just think that most of the things that we're so scared of, there is so much magic behind them. Like, the magic is behind the fear. Definitely, I've learned that the hard way, and now I'm so fucking glad that I know, because I feel that I've got half of my life still to go, and I can see it as that, you know, as just a beautiful process, and just going for it, like, practically. So anyways, you know, I arrive in the house, so I get this roommate. She was an older woman, and I started realizing that everyone that was being put in front of me had something of a process that I was dealing with. So, you know, she was an ex-alcoholic, so she was in AA, and she was having issues with her partner, which she had been her whole life, and her kids. And, you know, we started building this beautiful relationship as well, of understanding what she was going through, and understanding that what I was giving to her as advice, it was for me as well. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? In that moment, I obviously started to stop drinking, and I was smoking weed anymore. I was like, you know what, I'm going to quit weed. Like, I don't want, even if the government's giving it to me, because in Australia, the government gives it to you. So obviously, because of everything that I've been through, if I go to any psychologist or any fucking psychiatrist, the first thing they give me is drugs and medication. If I want to, I could get it. And, you know, I thought, well, weed, you know, like, help me with this and help me with that. And then they were giving me too much. And I thought, you know what, like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, seriously, I think that this should be way more controlled, because you're just making a bunch of people addicts. Like, it shouldn't be used and treated as that. I don't disagree with weed. I think weed is a beautiful plant that can help you to connect, that can help you with creativity, but you can't abuse it. And when they give it to you every day, yeah, that's a lot of abuse. Like, there's no need to do it every day. It's well, anyways, anyone can do it however the fuck they want it, and their process is their process. And for me, it was in my life for a long time. It's just that now I can choose whenever I want to have that connection. If I want to have a smoke one day, I will have a fucking smoke. I'm not going to say I'm never going to do it, this is fucking bad. No, drugs I won't, because I don't think I need to alter my state anymore. I don't think I need it. Like before I was doing drugs and I was doing alcohol because I needed to fake my reality. I needed to feel something different. I didn't want to feel what I really needed to feel. I didn't want to see my reality how it was because it was shit. I didn't want to. Now I can because I don't really have a problem with it. I'm very fucking happy and content with my own life and with my decisions and with everything that I've lived through and my past and my present and my future and everything. I'm happy as shit. So I don't need it. But anyways, in that moment, you know, I was kind of still going through the process of going, fuck, like I'm now, like I don't have someone to put as my emergency contact. Like I went to the doctors and they were like, hey, so your emergency contact? Oh, I don't have anyone. You can't, the owner of the house of where I'm living. Because, okay, I jumped to an important part. So because when I arrived and I started trying to be better with my dad and, you know, heal that relationship with him, because I felt that for me to heal the relationship with him and the relationship with my father figure, I needed to be okay with him. That was still in my head. I was like, if I need to work my dad issues, I need to love him and have a good relationship with him, and we have to be perfect and butterflies. And things just went, again, down south. So I'm in this new house. I'm going to visit him at least once a month, or even more than that. You know, I was going fishing with him and going to visit him and talking to him and, you know, trying to build that relationship. When it was Father's Day in Colombia and I posted a beautiful photo that I took before I left with my stepdad, and I posted it, he sends me a message going, what the fuck is that photo about? Like, that's good. My dad he speaks, so you fucking cunt, or you fucking. He's very Australian from like a little town. And they speak like that. Well, some of them. Well, my dad's one of the very bad spoken ones. So, yeah, what the fuck is that photo? What the fuck are you doing? Like, this fucking hurt me. And I thought, bitch, what? It curious you. So I sent him a message back and I say, Dad, it's Father's Day in Colombia. He took care of me since I was 8 years old. When it's Father's Day in Australia, I'll congratulate you. That was it. I didn't respond to anything else. 2 days go by and he just started going off. You always blame me and your fucking mother is this and fucking here and she fucked I don't know who and all this bullshit. And I was like, oh my God. I remember that day. I was reading those messages and I was so angry. Oh my God, I was so fucking mad. I was like, this bitch. Like, I swear, I'm talking to my sister. My sister's telling me that she doesn't want nothing to do with him. I'm talking to my brothers and then nobody wanted to do nothing with him. And everyone was calling me, you know, like, what the, like, you know, like, you do you, but we're not getting involved with that monster. And I was just there and I'm thinking, oh, what the fuck am I doing? Like, you know what? Like, I know this is going to be fucking hurtful for me because my dad's always been my dad. My dad. I'm gonna tell him how it is. I'm not going to be the nice one anymore. I'm gonna be real. And I'm gonna send him a message being real. So I send him a beautiful message. Oh, beautiful if I see it now. I wasn't rude. I just told him how it was. I said to him, look, I went through the same relationship that you went through with my mom. And I know the courage she had to do to leave the abuse that you were putting her through. And you can't make yourself like the victim because I've lived with you and I know who you are. You received me when I was 16 for 3 months and then kicked me out and never called me again for 4 years. I've been living in Australia for a year almost. It was like 9 months or something like that. And you've never come to visit me. It's always me. You don't even call me. It's me. I go, I'm not. Stop blaming everyone else for your miserable life. You've got 3 kids. Nobody talks to you. None of his brothers talk to him. None of the family talk to him. He's a very alone person because he's unbearable. Because he's a full-on victim and he's a full-on narcissist. The bigger one. He was my big monster. My dad was my fucking monster. And I felt that day And instead of me, because obviously I got angry and I got like, what the fuck, like this man would like, everything I lived through was because you couldn't fucking stop drinking. Everything I lived through was because you were a fucking abuser. I remember you kicking and fucking my mum up when I was little. How are you gonna tell me that's a lie? Because he said he never hit my mum. He was never the bad one. He was a beautiful human being. So I sent him a message and I said, you're not that beautiful human being. I don't know what reality you live in, but you did this and that. And don't blame everyone else for your miserable life. You're miserable because you fucking do miserable shit. Don't ever contact me again. And I blocked him from everywhere. Phone, Facebook, Instagram, and anyone who had any type of relationship with him. For me, my dad that day died. And then I realized I was drinking beer because that made me feel connected to him. Anytime I was aggressive, I felt connected to my dad. Anytime I was fucking drunk, I felt connected to my dad. That was me trying to be like him. And that's when I understood when my grandma told me I was still like my dad. I was still in his energy. I was still in narcissistic, aggressive, drunken mode. I was still with a partner that resembled everything from my dad. Everything. They were exactly the same as him. All of them. Same reactions, same type of people, same bullshit. It was the same. It was exactly the same. It was a loop. And then I sat down and I saw it from a different perspective. And I thought, and I remember I was talking to my therapist and I was kind of, it just clicked on me. And I thought, his soul just gave me a beautiful gift. He just reminded me of everything that was wrong for me to take the decision of letting him go. For me, it was like his human self is a little fucker and he doesn't know what the hell, but he needed to bring all this up out of the blue because it was out of the blue. I had visited him like a week before. And we were making plans and we were making all these, and out of nowhere, shit just blew. I thought, you know what? I think that this is the most beautiful gift he could have given me, of letting him go. And I don't have any anger towards him. I do my meditations and I see him as a little boy and I understand all the pain he went through. I understand that he didn't have the courage as well as I can have that with my mom, and that compassion with him and with my mom of knowing they weren't maybe capable of doing what I'm doing, of looking at my wounds, looking at my shit and dealing with it and changing it. And not staying in victim mode or in mode. It's like, I don't want something, I'm gonna change it. And then everything just started being very beautiful because the thing that I was most afraid of, which was being alone, not having anyone to help me, not having anyone to rescue me, not having a situation that I could feel. And I was like, oh my God, I'm totally alone. And this has been the most beautiful gift that I could have given myself. That aloneness, that not having anyone to rescue me. And it showed me that I don't need anyone, that I am capable of doing it alone, that I am capable of spending time alone. I hated going to the beach alone or going to a restaurant alone or going to the movies alone. I felt it was so sad. I'm like, oh my God. I will have to get a seat and nobody's sitting next to me. It's so embarrassing. No, I love it. I absolutely love doing things for myself. I can watch the movie that I want. I can order what I want. I can go to a restaurant and fucking do what I want. I can walk. It's been so beautiful that I am so grateful for everything that happened. Because maybe if my friend, I still call him a friend because, I'm very appreciative of what he did. If he didn't tell me that I had a job and that everything was going to be fine and that we didn't have, I probably wouldn't have traveled. I probably would have taken a lot more time and I probably would have tried to control everything and I would have done this and I would have done that. if he didn't really make me uncomfortable in the house, I wouldn't be in this beautiful house by myself, having this whole process of me being alone, because I always would have been distracted. So I'm grateful. I'm really appreciative of it. And if I see him in the street, I'll probably just say hi and give him a hug and say thank you for everything. I don't know if he feels the same way, because obviously I just left and, you know, ego is a bugger. But I'm aware that if he didn't help in that sense of at least telling me what I needed to hear, I wouldn't have probably made the decision in the moment that I did, and maybe things would have been different. I don't know, that maybe would have happened doesn't exist, so I have no idea. But no, I think it was the best thing that could have happened to me. It was really the best thing that could have happened to me. With my dad not talking to him and knowing that I've got no one. As I told you, I don't have anyone to put as my emergency contact. And now me being able to live in this house alone and not having, because I've been very reserved of having friends or going out with anyone or doing anything. Like I'm very conscious of that. I am in a process right now where I'm trying to see who I am. And if I start hanging around with a bunch of people, I'm just going to do the same thing that I used to do before, which is just adapt to whatever the fuck they wanted. And I don't want to do that. Maybe I'm liking the process a little bit too much. Maybe. But you know, it is what it is. So I think for now we're going to leave it here. I hope again that everything was clear. I think this episode was mostly about how about when life throws things at you and it's on repeat and a loop, and you're like, why do I always have this type of people? Why do all these type of situations always happen? Why did this fucking shit? You just have to react different. You just have to do something different. For me, it was having faith in myself, knowing that I didn't need anyone to save me. And if I was feeling uncomfortable in a situation or in a place, I could just move. The world wasn't going to end. And if I was feeling uncomfortable and whatever, it was the best thing for me to do it. Because at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be by myself. Like now I'm going to be alone. If I can't do it, who's going to do it for me? I'm going to die. And I haven't. I've rebuilt myself. And I did die, symbolically. I'm not the same person at all. I don't talk the same. I don't walk the same. I don't want the same things. I am very different. I'm a new 2.0 Rosalinda. But that all happened because I allowed it to do so. I really went inward and I realized that I needed to give to myself everything that I was expecting to get from everyone else. Nobody was going to love me if I didn't love myself. Nobody was going to save me if I didn't save myself. Nobody was going to give me everything that I needed to give to me. And when I realized that and I let go, like that little Nemo again thingy of thinking, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I'm just going to have faith that everything works itself out. The most beautiful ways that I can't even think about. It's a beautiful process. Sometimes it's not that pretty. Sometimes it's not that pretty, but unfortunately we learn from tough situations. When we're in the good situations, sometimes we forget to see what's going on, and we, as humans, we learn when bad shit happens, when we get confronted, when we get put out of our comfort zone. That's when we learn. That's when we really look at it. Sometimes we forget. We have to go back and look at it again. But for me, because I was in a very conscious already place and state of thinking, what am I creating my reality? Straight away, I noticed the loop that I was creating. My friend was the same type of person that I was always bringing to my life. Exactly the same. And the moment that I said, I don't need him to save me, I'm going to save me. I don't care if he's got the government in his fucking hands and I've got all this contact. I don't care. It is maybe what I thought I wanted, but it's not what my heart wanted at all. And I started listening to it. And it's been a beautiful process. Those were the last things that I think I needed to let go. That with gratitude was like the end of me. The end. I'm going to leave it here. Next episode, I want to share, because I think that this is kind of my whole story. But I want to share how I started this whole journey of telling my story. It's a beautiful way because it started as something totally different, and then it just transformed itself into me being standing right here telling you all these 11 hours of stories. And you know, it's again, it's to let go and let life, God, yourself, the stars, the aliens, whoever the fuck you believe in. For me, it's everything is inside of you. And for me, it's this beautiful brain. It's the one who creates the reality in this beautiful game that we call life. What am I creating? What am I putting in front of me? Why am I going through this situation? Why is this person being put in front of me? Why is this situation coming up again? And sometimes it's just as simple as reacting different of how you normally do. I would have stayed forever in a friendship that would have probably turned out to be into a relationship because I felt that I needed him, but I didn't. I went and got myself a little car. I went and got myself a room that ended up being a house for me by myself. I would have never thought of that. I want to get a house and I want to get this. Nothing would have come out like it is. And it's been a fucking beautiful process. A beautiful process for me to be sitting here and telling you all this stuff from love. And from a compassion and from understanding, because I don't hate anyone. I don't feel regret, like resentful towards anyone. I think everything was perfect. Perfect. How it had to be. So anyways, I'll let you go. Thank you very much for staying and listening for all this time. I hope again that you could find something with what I'm saying that probably clicks in your head and gives you the courage of maybe trying something new, of maybe taking that move and moving to a different city that you've been thinking about, or maybe letting go of that relationship that you keep trying to hold on to, that you know is not good for you. When you put yourself first and when you're so in deep with your self-love, everything around you changes. You don't even have to move a finger towards them. You do you, and everything else just goes. It's like a little ripple when you throw like a little rock in the water. There's like ripples. It's the same thing. But do that little rock with love. Then it just starts vibrating into everyone that you love, everyone that's sad, the situations, everything. And you can just see life throwing you sometimes like a bag of shit, and you're just grabbing and you go, this is shit, I don't want it. You just throw it. But before it was like, oh my God, life is shit, why me? See, all this stuff always happens, why that? I'm a victim. I can't do that because look, I have a cat, I can't move. Why? You are your worst and best. You are your worst enemy or your best friend. It depends how you want to take life. There's always two ways of seeing it and playing this beautiful game. We're finished with the 11 episodes of this whole life. So fucking pretty. Number 11. I can't believe it. I didn't plan it. I swear to you. You can see it. I talk whatever, and sometimes I start something and I don't finish it. And you know, this is just me. I was going to say last episode, and I'm going to start with this, blah, blah. I told you guys that I understood why I spoke so much. Like, I speak sometimes over myself. And it always pisses me off because I'm like, Rosa, just shut up. Like, why are you talking so much? And I can see the faces of the people going like, oh my God, she doesn't shut up. Now, when people talk to me that much, I'm like, oh my God, shut up. But when we've gone through so much trauma and we haven't been able to verbalize it and talk about it, when we do talk, we talk too much because we've been holding on of saying that many things that you want to say. So thank you for allowing me to say everything. Thank you for listening. And I wish you a beautiful, beautiful week. And I will see you for the next one. So I can tell you how this whole thing transformed into what I'm telling you now. And we'll take it from there. We'll see where this goes. Send you a big kiss. Bye.